Hello again, it's me, the guy with the YouTube channel. You know, that's just become the catchphrase of this channel. Anyways, today, seeing as G-Fest 22 is just around the corner, and I will be attending, I figured I should review the very first figure I ever bought at a G-Fest. Really, G-Fest, because, you know, the only other one I've been to is the one from last. Anyways, today we are reviewing the Bandai Ganera 1995. And can we just get them completely? There you go. Let's just get on to the detailing. There's no tag, and of course, as always, has to be trouble focusing. There we go. As you can see, first sculpt from 1995. This is some pretty good sculpted detail. Some people may say this is pretty inaccurate, just because of the way he looks, because he's bright green. But the bright green color aside, he is a very accurate representation of Gamera 1995, as you can see. There's kind of silverish gold, almost bronzish kind of spray on his toes. Can't really tell because of the lighting and showing up silver on camera, so yeah. You can see, again, I mean, he's all hard vinyl, even though the Godzilla vs. Destroyer figures came out the very same year, and they were soft vinyl, but they were still kind of making the transition into soft vinyl, Bandai, at this time, and you can see the knees, they look very nice, all sorts of nice sculpted detail. See, this plastron is nicely sculpted. It's got kind of a yellowish gold spray on it, which doesn't actually spray onto any of the other limbs, which is pretty good considering Bandai. You can see there's some nice detailing there. His arms, his hands, there's some spray on his fingernails, which isn't really, well, on mine it's basically scuffed off pretty much completely. It's a little bit more on this arm, but not that much. Yeah, you can see all his elbows, which were originally going to have spikes, but the director, Shusuke Kaneko, didn't approve of the design, so they went with a more defining crease around his elbows, because Shinji Higuchi, the guy who designed Gamera, thought Showa Gamera didn't really look like he had elbows. And you can see it's a nice detail. The head is nicely done. There's another goldish yellow spray on the head. His eyes are the same color as his tusks and teeth, which kind of leads me to believe it might be a little bit faded, but I don't really know. And inside the mouth is nicely done, painted pinkish, kind of a pinkish red color. And you can see it's nicely sculpted. His shell is a really bright green, almost white kind of looking green. And see, it's pretty nice, really scuffed on mine. And the tail is really stumpy. And you can see there's the scutes from the shell continuing onto his tail, but yeah, I mean, it's nicely sculpted, the tail, but like I said, really stumpy. And that's kind of a problem with the figure, is proportions. Like, his shell is a little bit too long and stumpy tail, and he does not really have much of a neck at all. He should have a longer neck, but that's just what they gave him. Probably just for the cost of vinyl to keep it down, so that they could put more vinyl towards the shell. Because, you know, amounts of vinyl have to be limited for figures, so yeah, detail and paint job is really nice. Not really nice, but pretty good. It could have been a little bit better for 1995 standards, but still a really good figure. So for articulation, the arms can move. They cannot go 360. That's about as far as you can get them back, and about as far down. The other arm, seeing as it is in a slightly different pose, gets less further back. And, yeah, well, I was gonna say a little bit further down, but they get about the same range. The legs are the only joint that can move 360, and they're still kind of stiff, but they can move. The tail wags a little bit, moves about that far to his right, and about that far to the left. And finally, the head is on a joint, but you can't really get that much motion out of it. Like, if you really force it hard, that's about as far as you can get it to move. Yeah. Not much of a point in that joint there. And now for sizing, here's of course the only other figure that he was released alongside in 1995, Bandai Super Gauss. Now, at first you'd probably say this is inaccurate, but considering that Gauss is really bending over a lot, if she were standing up straight, she would be about that big compared to Gamera completely. Like, completely standing up straight, she'd be about that big, which is accurate. So, even though she's leaning over a lot, it is a pretty accurate sizing. And next, here's a figure from the second movie in the second year, Mother Legion, which this is in absolutely no way accurate at all whatsoever. Even if this figure was, even if Gamera is leaning over, he's still never going to size up accurately with Legion. So, yeah. Next, here is the SH Monster Arts Gamera, which, yeah, the 96 Gamera, just to give you an idea, just to show how the suit has changed in the two movies. And here's the Revoltech Gamera 96, because why not? Fuck it. And next, of course, next here is the Bandai 8-inch GMK Godzilla, which I don't think this is very accurate. Heisei Gamera is 80 meters, even though in my last review, the Legion, I think I said or in an earlier review, I said he was 60 meters, but he is 80 meters, and I think GMK Godzilla is 50 meters, I'm not sure, so Gamera should be about that big. But, well, they still look good. I obviously brought this Godzilla out because they're both from Shinsuke Kaneko. Right, and next, the usual bunch. Here is a standard Bandai Ultraman Ultra Hero series figure. You know, just to give you an idea of sizing there. He's smaller. Next, here is the NECA 6-inch Godzilla 2014. Again, not very accurate at all, just to give you an idea of how big Gamera here is. Next, here is the Bandai SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1995 Rebirth version. In no way accurate, but just to give you an idea, and they do look okay together. And if you're going for like the 50 meter Godzilla and a 60 meter or 80 meter Gamera, then this could be kind of accurate. But anyways, next, just a standard Pacific Rim kaiju body. His axe head just being stand-in for, again, a standard kaiju body. And finally, my repainted Bandai Creation Final Wars Rodan, because he's been in almost every review except for one of them, because I'm a dumbass who forgets to show figures. So now on to the history of the figure and pricing. This figure was released in 1995 to alongside Super Gauss to coincide with the release of Gamera Daikaiju Kuchu Kasen, or Gamera Guardian of the Universe, or Gamera Giant Monster Aerial Battle, whatever title you want to go by. And it was never released again, so this was the only release, and for pricing, it was pretty much the standard price when it came out. I'm not sure on how much. Maybe 7,000 to 1,300 yen, which would have been about $7 to $13, just assuming. And price today, you know, if you go on, well, usually where people search eBay or Yahoo Japan, it's usually, I think last time I checked, around $20 to $30, sometimes goes up to $40, and depending on if it has the tag, could go up to a higher price. I got this for $20, so not that bad. I probably could have done better, but okay price. So overall, I'm going to give this figure an 8 out of 10. why I give it such a high rating, because, well, if you look past the green, it's a really good figure, other than the proportions. So yeah, again, 8 out of 10, and that's it. That's all for the review. Go! Go!